I'm Jen Stewart, and I'm the Program Director of the Anesthesiology Residency at IU School of Medicine. We have an incredibly supportive environment for which we use to train our residents to become some of the best anesthesiologists that they can be. Our residents have the opportunity to train at 5 different hospitals, 3 of which are level 1 trauma centers, all of which are within a 2-mile radius, which is an incredibly unique experience for anesthesiology residency programs.
The special thing about this residency program is all the different hospitals, the different exposure that you get.
We are lucky to have 5 tertiary care hospitals, all within a few blocks of each other.
So when you come to downtown, you're not having to go to another city to do any of your cases, where sometimes other bigger programs farm you out to other hospitals. So you have to figure out how to be gone for a month or 2 at a time to do rotations. That doesn't happen here. I work at Eskenazi Hospital, which is a level 1 trauma center. We also have the biggest burn center in the entire state. You're going to get a whole breadth of trauma just at this one trauma center. And then burns, that's a whole another kind of really sick patient that you may get to take care of here as well.
And we usually have at least a trauma per day. Sometimes there's multiple traumas, and a lot of times they're actually related, whether in car wrecks. Sometimes we get 3 in a row, all within like a 10-minute period.
Our pediatric rotations are done at Riley Children's Hospital, which is the level 1 trauma center here on campus for pediatrics, and also the only one in the state of Indiana.
They also do pediatric hearts, which our residents can be involved in as well. Big pediatric neuro cases. Those are things that you may not get to see everywhere across the country.
At Methodist Hospital, our residents see a lot of ortho trauma, vascular trauma, blunt trauma, and even penetrating trauma.
And they do a lot of big vascular cases, which has been a really good experience. They do cardiac cases, again, some bread and butter, ortho, general surgery stuff, and then they do trauma.
University Hospital is a huge cancer center, so our residents get a lot of exposure to big cancer cases that include thoracotomies, hepatectomies, and Whipples. Our residents do a lot of transplant at University Hospital. We are in the top 10 when it comes to liver transplants, pancreas, and intestine transplants.
One of the interesting things at University Hospital specifically is the robust abdominal transplant service.
We do a lot of really big cancer cases. Really big open belly cases, thoracic cases. We also do a lot of transplants here.
A transplant brings a lot of joy to people. I've seen the joy that it brings when a person gets a new kidney or a liver, and it's one of the most technically difficult cases that we do here at Indiana University.
These patients will have a lot of comorbidities, and they're really sick because they've had cancer and maybe chemo, and the things that you're doing over there really look at, one, trying to help them beat the cancer, but also figure out how to control pain, because a lot of times they have a lot of pain.
And our residents get an exceptional number of neuraxial and regional nerve blocks throughout their training. Our residents also rotate through the Veterans Hospital of Indiana, where they get the opportunity to care for many of our veterans who unfortunately have had lack of access to care over the years. Therefore, they present with a lot of medical problems and pathologies, and we are proud and honored to help take care of those individuals.
You have your typical VA patient. So you have older men that are sick. They have all of those comorbidities that come with that, COPD, heart disease, all of that kind of stuff. So it's another population that's very sick, and you really have to learn about those patients.
Hands down, one of the biggest things that attracted me was the clinical cases that IU provides to their anesthesia residents.
You're going to get a breadth of anesthesia exposure that really is hard to get anywhere else.
It's very rare to have so many hospitals with so many different faculty, so many different cases. Be able to see the same case done in multiple different ways at different facilities, I think it's very rare.
Patients come both locally and from across the state, as well as from other states, due to the expertise that we provide here. We see it all here.
So we're really lucky here that we have such a high quality sim center for our residents to be able to get training in. We get to expose residents in an area that's sort of lower stress and lower stakes, but still provide that real world sort of experience and simulation for them. We have phenomenal nationally ranked programs in so many different surgical specialties. We have such a great people that work here, both on the anesthesia side and on the surgical side, between the perioperative teams, the surgical teams. It's an area where you get to see a lot of really interesting, really cool cases that you don't get to see in a lot of other centers, and in an area that's really supportive.
Training at this program kind of give you a diverse clinical scenarios, diverse cases. You see a lot of different cases that kind of make you well-rounded.
You could really say that IU has it all. Our residents get every learning opportunity that they could possibly need, all in one location and all within walking distance, which is incredibly unique to any program.
It's less hierarchical and more just two professionals working together. There's respect both ways.
Our program is very family friendly. We have several residents who come in with kids. We have several residents who have children during the residency. We're able to take off time, whether it's paternity leave or maternity leave. It's wonderful to have that in a program.
They are really open to us. If we have any questions or any issues, we can reach out to them for answers. That support system means a lot to me because residency is not easy, and then to know that we have a strong support system, I believe that that's very important.
It's a very supportive environment. I think we really strive to give each individual resident the attention they need and tailor the program to them so that they all come out as successful anesthesiologists wherever they would like to go practice.
We really do take resident feedback and incorporate it into their learning experience. Our goal is to provide a very supportive environment where we're offering everything that the resident needs from an educational side of things, while also making it a pleasant and enjoyable experience.
Not only is the training, I feel, almost unparalleled in the exposure that you get, and the exposure that you get really early on in the training. It's not something that they delay and they wait down the line. You hit the ground running as soon as you get here. They start putting you in cases, you start to get challenged, you start to get trained, and that's one of the benefits of the program that other places across the country can't afford to do.
We are relatively quick to get autonomy to our residents, which at first can seem a little bit scary, but very quickly, and then in the long run, I think benefits the patient, benefits our residents as well. They are doing big cases relatively quickly in their career here.
There's a level of autonomy and trust that develops over time as a resident that is very rare and something that allows you to really grow as an anesthesiologist.
I was given the support that I needed to feel comfortable on my day one when I didn't know anything about anesthesia. But I was also allowed to make some calls myself, which was really, really important to my growth.
I think we strive to give them the best experience in the OR with complicated cases and give them the means to figure out how to do these cases while working with staff, and then also how to do them independently, so when they graduate, they're fully able to take care of any patient that they would encounter.
You really are challenged early to step out of your comfort zone in a safe environment, but grow very quickly in the CA1 years.
Our philosophy is to provide great clinical exposure while giving you a lot of autonomy and providing you with the guided supervision that you need.
Ultimately, it's being able to be in the room, getting comfortable, and jumping in and getting your feet wet right off the bat.
I'm the chair of the DEIJ committee for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Justice. And we have a committee that meets together on a regular basis to try to make sure we're fulfilling the initiatives for the department, including representational diversity, creating an inclusive climate, and fostering a sense of cultural humility. And that is absolutely something that we have a culture here of supporting people through their family transitions.
The fact that we have over 80 residents in our program here, and they're from all over the world, you meet a lot of people. This is a good, diverse program.
Even though we are a large program, we are like a family. We have a great sense of community.
I think we really strive at Indiana University to make sure that we are accepting of all people and all ideas so that we can really grow and be better.
From the resident standpoint, you will graduate from this program being extremely strong clinically.
When I came through and I talked to residents about what they were doing and did they really feel prepared by this program, across the board, everyone said, I'm ready. I've been ready for months. I've seen everything that there is to see in training. I'm ready to hit the ground running.
We are exposed to everything, and so when we go out into the workforce, we can go to a hospital that does trauma and transplant and thoracics. A lot of us already have jobs lined up because people know that we're going to do a good job, and so they reach out to us and say, hey, we've got an open position, are you interested?
One thing about Indiana University is that when you leave, you will feel comfortable doing any anesthetic. Our residents can compete with the best named programs across the country.
I interviewed all around the country, and every time the program director would ask me, so why do you want to come here? We know about your training in Indiana. It's a very strong training. Your residents come out very competent. Our residents come out of residency feeling confident, taking care of any kind of complexities.
If you are the kind of student that's engaged and curious about your environment, about anesthesia, about surgery, is constantly wanting to learn and really self-motivated, then IU is the place for you.
IU's reputation definitely precedes itself. It is not uncommon for me to have fellowship directors and medical directors at various groups across the country reaching out to me, telling me how well trained our residents are and how happy they were to have hired them and that they would take any one of our residents again in the future.
In the beginning, when I was coming to Indiana, I didn't really know where Indiana was to begin with.
I love the Midwest. Absolutely love it. The Midwest is near and dear to my heart, and Indiana has some of the aspects of the Midwest that I enjoy the most, as far as whether it's the pace of life or the way which people communicate with one another.
One of the things that I feared most about a place like Indianapolis is not having good food. The level of restaurants here is phenomenal. Indianapolis has a great food scene.
I think Indianapolis flies under the radar for many people unless they've been here or unless they've grown up here. It's a large city that has something for everybody. If you're someone who already has started a family, you can find great school systems and parks and zoos and children's museums and opportunities for your children. If you're a music lover or a sports lover, we have acts that come through. We have major sporting events. We have an affordable cost of living. We have a commute and traffic that facilitates having more free time at home rather than sitting in gridlock traffic. We have an airport that offers easy commutes to a variety of other locations and is very easy to navigate.
We just found that it was a perfect place for us to raise our family to. Everyone at every program is going to be required to do a minimum amount of work to be board eligible and graduate their program. Our residents, they're doubling and tripling the number of required cases that they need to have. When you're here going through 5 hospitals, you're learning different EMRs. So they've probably utilized 95% of the equipment on the anesthesia market. By the time you graduate, you are very comfortable with providing any kind of anesthesia to any patient that comes in your OR, and I think that's the ultimate goal.
I can assure you that if you come to IU for your residency training, you're going to leave here feeling incredibly confident and competent to take care of any patient, any type of case, anywhere and anytime. So if you're the type of person who's looking to be challenged during your residency, to get great clinical exposure, to learn how to feel confident and competent as an anesthesiologist, then IU is the place for you.